Testing 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. There we go again. Just feeling brilliantly ridiculous once again. This will be my second video in the Andy Warhol's Not Me series video library, which will be completed sometime before my death, and I'll probably have live streams before then, but for now I'm just gonna have death streams because I don't know how to live stream. I want to see my thing on the side while I surf the internet or watch video games or some stuff like that, you know, and then just talk about the news or whatever's going on. I'm listening to a different station this time. This one's kind of like more old school, like 60s and 70s, and more like soft rock favorites, kind of. That they've always played a lot of popular stuff on the radio, but I like this station because it's 103.1. I like it because they don't play very many commercials, like not as many as some of the other stations that I like a lot. And I just, you know, I don't mind the talking, but I'm just not really in a talking mood unless I'm just having a really sad, lonely day or something. I don't know. If I'm having a bad reaction to some potion or something, or drugs, pills or something, prescriptions, just because, you know, when you mix everything together, like Gandalf the Wizard, you know, you're bound to have some bad experiences sometimes. So one thing I can say is if you mix a lot of I know this for a fact from past experience, if you mix too much good stuff like superfood powders and things, and maybe pills or whatever, just goes along with that kind of stuff. Too much health stuff will, too much of anything isn't good for you. It's I usually have crazy dreams if I overdose on good stuff that are like superfood mixtures and stuff. I'll dream about like cobra snakes or rattlesnakes or whatever, poisonous, scary snakes, or dangerous, poisonous looking spiders, and things like black widows or tarantulas, or just any kind of scary spider. Just so try to avoid too much good stuff. But I think doses of those things are good. Like I want to get some Kachava again. I've got some whey protein chocolate shakes, and I'm not like so addicted to the superfoods like powders I used to be because they would give me a lot of energy to or mental stimulation to get through the day like without coffee because I don't drink coffee anymore. I used to drink a lot, but I feel like it gave me unnecessary anxiety sometimes. So I stopped coffee about 2018, and now if I ever drink coffee, it's very rare, and I'm just very careful with the amount, you know. Like, I mean, like if somebody bought me a frappuccino, like my mom or something, um, I would probably drink it, at least half of it, in one day. um, my grandmother drank coffee like till she was like 93, and she died only a couple miles from the White House, or the White House? No, it's the D.C. Capitol building where Congress meets. There's a veterans home, I guess, over there. I didn't visit there, and I don't know which one, what the name is or anything. Uh, so yeah, just chilling out. You know, like right now it's the end of the day for the people that work in this complex. So I like it. I like feeling the peaceful vibe of everybody just chilling, not doing anything for money, you know, that I know about. And just, you know, that time of the day where everybody's kind of relaxing and trying to commune together in different ways that are enjoyable or peaceful, loving, you know, with their partners or going out to movies or shopping or whatever. Restaurants. These are the happy times, right? So I'm happy right now. Or I'm trying to be. What's this? This is mango turmeric ginger tea. And I add a little sweet and low. Today, I didn't see anything crazy in the news that I could think of. Let's see. What was on the news? Same kind of stuff. They said that Ukraine almost, some drones hit something that they thought was a oil refinery. I mean, like they know it's an oil refinery, but either that place or another place was like, they're kind of saying it's a nuclear power plant. Why would Ukraine do that? Well, all I can say is it doesn't surprise me if they did shoot drones at a nuclear power plant in Russia, because I don't think they have any thoughts to what might happen in Russia. It's just a terrorist state. It's all of them. All the people are so brainwashed with propaganda. Like, all they know how to do is like lose their fucking minds. They need to be reprogrammed or re-educated, you know. And I hope that will happen soon. I mean, I really try to have faith and hope that for the best that Donald Trump will somehow convince Putin to end the war. Not, you know, I really wish he would have to pay for his war crimes, but, you know, war is hell, And it's been going on for so long. It's just ridiculous. It's awful. Um, so sick. Terrible. Extremely terrible. What a bad situation. Yeah, I don't think Ukraine wants to start a nuclear thing, but it just wouldn't surprise me if they did. Because back in 1996, I guess, or when they had the Budapest Memorandum, and Bill Clinton and some officials of the government in Europe or something, maybe they signed an agreement where Russia would not attack Ukraine or something, and they would protect them if Ukraine got rid of their nuclear weapons, and also if United States would protect Ukraine as well. And Ukraine, I don't know why at that time they weren't already in the NATO alliance. Well, they weren't because they had only because they only got their freedom in like 1991. So, but they had a few years. I guess they had to organize their government and get to thinking more of the European way or the international way than the Russian Soviet Union way. So they gave up all their nuclear weapons, and they've been defenseless, and Russians took advantage of that and are now trying to take back that territory that's probably about as big as Texas, but I think it might be the biggest country in Europe. And we don't want Ukraine to be taken over because it's got a lot of cultural value, and they've got their own language. They've got so much about them is different from Russia, especially what they've developed during the time that they've been free. And you know, they're never gonna stop talking about, oh, they shouldn't have given up the weapons, like, oh man. Trump is saying right at the beginning they shouldn't have fought against Russia. The President Zelensky said the day after the Russian attack or something, or the same day, his quote was, "I don't need a ride," like evacuation, I guess. "I don't need a ride, I need ammunition." And okay, they decided to defend themselves. But at that time, they had such a small supply of military weapons and things. They had like their grandpa was on the street with a rifle or something, like behind sandbags, or just they didn't have. They weren't prepared. They didn't have trenches dug or any kind of fortifications. So just like this 40-mile convoy of Russian tank caravan came through on like the same road, and Ukraine couldn't destroy like all those tanks because they didn't have the weapons at that time that we provided them with. And a lot of the defending they did was just near the capital, Kyiv. The Russian tried to attack, and they thought they would take over in 3 days, was the president of Russia's plan. So they turned that attack around somehow, miraculously, and I guess Russia wasn't expecting Ukraine to fight back, so it caught them off guard a little bit. And I remember the reporters were just standing at the border, like, look at all these, like CNN reporters, look at all these tanks go by, just right on in to Ukraine. And I thought, man, I don't know how that reporter could just be right there when they're starting a war. I mean, surely he's in incredible danger, you know. And that same reporter, though, I know he has lasted this whole time, but a lot of the other ones, some of them, I'd say a lot though of reporters have not made it. Not just Ukrainian reported or international, but Russian ones too, have found themselves affected by being too close to the war and dying and stuff. According to my understanding, a lot of have had there've been a lot of unnecessary deaths for reporters who were in the war zone. I kind of wish Ukraine would have evacuated, because if they would have, I don't want to say Zelensky was wrong, because I'm not Ukrainian. I don't know the sentimental value they have for their culture and their land there, and the things that they built, and then their history, their freedom, and just all the stuff that makes countries what they are now all over the world. I guess all that stuff means a lot to some people, and then somebody like me who's more like mental and not really so down to earth, I guess. Not that I don't want to be down to earth. That's why I'm making these videos. I like to feel closer to the human race and feel more comfortable communicating with people and feel more down to earth and alive, not just spaced out and dreaming all the time. But sharing the daily, human experience and feeling the consciousness with everyone else of happiness, of peace and freedom, for whatever extent we're able to achieve it, or attain it. Someday, hopefully our freedoms internationally won't be dependent on control freaks that have too much power and influence over others. Surely the technology will save the world somehow. I'm not expecting necessarily a new device to be invented, but I just know that things are so different with the internet. Like, God, what a life without the internet. Oh man. So comparable to what I would call slavery, because the internet has shown me, sort of educated me in a way that I don't know if traveling the world would have been enough, to know what I know now. A lot of it, so much of it is from the internet. And when I first moved into this apartment, 106, 18 years and 2 months ago. Is that right? November, December, January. 3 months ago. I watched cable TV, not always just glued to it, but in the background it was on. And I watched it for the first 4 or 5 years. It seems like. Well, no, because I started the internet. I started it for a few days in 2007, and then that computer broke. And then I got another computer in 2008, I guess. But that was close to 2008, so it's kind of about around that time that. So it was the end of 2007. but I still didn't use the computer that much because I didn't know that much about it. And I still thought that cable TV was what it was all about, because we get all this propaganda in the mail and stuff that says, oh, you gotta have all your channels and stuff for the movies and whatever else. You want to have all these things like everybody else does. Like, so I subscribed to it. For like maybe 2 years, I would use closed captioning, and I wouldn't. Maybe that was after I started the computer, but it was a little before too. And I would just read the words on the screen. So a lot of times, yeah, it just wasn't. Maybe I needed the quiet time. I needed the silence from a lifetime of confusing places where I didn't necessarily want to hear the sounds that were around me. And I needed to get into my own world and my own sound vibrational kind of universe, you know? Well, it looks like I'm still very far from achieving my diet goals. I did drink water only for 48 hours, and then I started eating again because I was reading some things about how you need like protein, and you need things like certain vegetables are good to kind of help get through the days, and yeah, just mixing certain things together, like certain things that actually, fortunately, I have some of those leftover canned goods from like last month or something, or stuff that I ordered at the beginning of the month. So I can make like things like mushroom soup with unsalted vegetables and tomato sauce, or what else would I? Maybe a little olive oil and yeah. And to my tea, I also add apple cider vinegar a little bit, a couple spoons for the day. And I believe that is kind of a good substitute for maybe real fruit if somebody doesn't have access to it. You know, they always say apple a day keeps the doctor away, you know, stuff like that. So the light shines on the back of my hair. Like, I wonder if that's on the video, but it kind of looks funny because I didn't know that I had long hair, but I guess this time, that's the longest probably my hair has grown. Maybe my whole life. I never really had long hair. It's been like a few months, I guess. I used to actually go to to a barber shop when I was a kid, and yeah, that was right next to Laguna Hills High School, where I ended up going, but I didn't graduate there. I got kicked out, and I had to go to in my senior year. Half of my senior year was at a continuation school in Mission Viejo called Silverado High School. And so I was almost able to graduate there, but I had to go to El Toro High School for summer school to get 5 credits, just one class, so I could get my diploma at Silverado. So El Toro, there was a lot of people there in summer school. It was interesting. Surprisingly, you know. I didn't expect to see so many people. And they changed the name of the city, El Toro, to Lake Forest. And my family ended up moving there when I was in high school from Laguna Hills. Looks like I drooled on my shirt or something. What is this stain here? I don't know. So I'm trying not to eat much, only healthy food because, well, I've got to lower my blood pressure before I can go back to the dentist. So if I don't lower my blood pressure, I'm in a lot of trouble. But even if I do lower it, I'm in trouble because I got a lot of problems in my teeth. But I'm hoping to get those solved pretty soon, and hopefully before February is finished. Maybe by Valentine's Day I'll have some solutions started so that I don't have to be reliant on eating everything on one side of my mouth or drinking, like trying to avoid touching the exposed nerves. I wonder if my neighbors can hear me. I heard a lot of dog barking a few minutes ago. I don't know, like 10 minutes ago, if the dog was listening to me or something. Or maybe it was because the manager came home to feed the dog and walk the dog, and dog's excited to eat and stuff like that, get some treats. I'm sure that dog gets some good treats because she's not crazy. She's actually the manager of the complex, Geneva. She's lived here for about maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years. Hiccup. Probably 3 or 4 years. And the maintenance man is Francisco. The fix-it-up guy at the complex is Francisco has a long record here. He seems like he was here almost as long as me. Probably like 15 years now. So, that's inspirational, very impressive that someone could do that kind of job for so long, because it's not easy at all, in my opinion. Having to be on call for fixing appliances and things like that, and doing the groundskeeping is not easy, especially in the summertime when it's so hot out there. You gotta be like a fucking like a sheik or something, a camel jockey, Rob Thomas in the bowling alley, right? Wonder what it's like to be Adidas shirt wearing pilot. With a overgrown beard left over from the holiday season. Yeah, the Christmas party's over on the radio. I was gonna start a diet right when it started, and or right when the music changed, but there was some really crazy stuff going on with the news at that time, and it was really kind of stressing me out. Plus some personal issues and stuff that made me wait. But now I don't have a choice. I have to. Like, I'm going to the doctor next Tuesday. And what's today? Tuesday? Say Tuesday or Wednesday? Oh, today's Wednesday. Yeah, time's running out. Time goes by, you know, and like I said, I don't look that much lighter than I did when I made the video 2 days ago. I definitely don't. In fact, in my opinion, I think I look heavier now than in that video. But hopefully, if I was to go back and watch that video, I would, and compare it with like this one, I would notice a difference. That's what I'm trying to do also, is, just maintain like a steady, progressive algorithm of weight loss while I'm lowering my blood pressure naturally, you know. And like I said, thank God the doctor, I trusted that she really cared, even though I've only seen her 2 times. What is her name? Dr. Malkassian? Malkassian. I don't know. I wonder what culture that is. It sounds kind of Middle Eastern or something. I really don't know. But I got a feeling that she did care, because I don't know, she just the way she was talking and stuff. So she said your enemy, salt is your enemy. You really want to avoid salt and sodium. And at that time I was 305. I don't have a scale in here. I didn't buy a scale, like a digital one, and it was broken. It was like I wasted the money. But that's, oh, I'm the worst at spending money. Wow. The money I could have saved up these years, you know. I spent so much on video games because I felt like, well, I feel like my hands would be playing video games just all day till the end of my life, you know. I enjoyed a lot of them. I got that feeling of kind of being in the video game rut, kind of, where you're just sort of playing tag with the machine guns and stuff. And I would buy these really expensive games, and I would just kind of go through the campaign, and I wouldn't spend much time after that, like in the Fortnite type battles, you know, where everybody's all together and going crazy, and because it would take so long to like respawn and to load the different things, like to start the game, different parts of the games. All that time was a lot to deal with. Plus the other games, even Lord of the Rings, because I got so many characters, takes a long time to load them if I'm going kind of from one to the other. And but I decided to continue my VIP status because I think it's worth it. Even if you're poor, I think Lord of the Rings is worth VIP $10 a month. Gems of War, another game I invested so much money in. I really thought the future was kind of going that way. I don't really so much feel the same way as I used to about Lord of the Rings. I think it sort of tapered off into an equilibrium of, I don't know, just regularity, not so much new stuff. And I thought for sure by now they'd be like flying and stuff like that, but they're saving all that, I believe. Sooner or later, someday it'll happen. I know maybe it won't be in all the territories, but I think they'll be flying in some territories. And probably things like sailing, maybe. Um, so yeah, I did invest tens of thousands of dollars for sure on Lord of the Rings, and I'll always love it. But the Gems of War was a game on PlayStation, like a gem game. You could play it on PC or mobile devices and stuff like that. That was a game I spent probably another like 20,000 on at least. And I felt the future was kind of going that way in a lot of ways. I felt a lot of really interesting progression there, and modernism, like good stuff. The deep details that you'll only find in games like Lord of the Rings that just go on and on forever. I mean, like the Star Wars world is like that too. There's a Star Wars game I spent a lot of money on, and I used to play a lot, which was a PC game called Star Wars: The Old Republic. And I had a lot of fun with that game, and it got to the point though where even though my characters had like a lot of good gear and stuff, it seemed like the new levels, the new expansions were a little bit too challenging. Even for my and there I had lots of characters. I had like another 25 characters. I went through the story like so many times. I loved it. I'm really into Star Wars. I mean, I'm like, if somebody would be like, "Are you a Jedi?" I'd be like, for sure, I'm a Jedi. Yeah. If you call a Jedi like an angel, a knight, somebody who's into like the Lord of the Rings stuff, maybe would be like a knight, maybe, or a wizard, or a dwarf, or a hobbit. What's the other one? Elf. Bjorning. That's like a half bear, half man. And I have a lot of so many possibilities. So I would always have a lot of characters. I liked using all the different types of magical abilities that were available and ways to play the game. Like right now, I've been really lazy with Lord of the Rings because I've been playing the Warden character. And even though I had 3 of those characters that got to a really high level, like over 100, there's only one I took to like 100 and it's like 144 right now, or 5. And I don't even know. I don't want to go to even 150, but I'm going to finish it up. It shouldn't take too long, but I've got a lot of experience boosters and things. Yeah. Plus VIP gives a lot of experience, so that's always helpful if you have a lot of characters. I think I have like 25 characters there too. So yeah, the Warden character, see, the thing about it is it has the capability to run speed, and then I guess you can mix a food 10% speed, so it'll be like 48% more than normal, and that's a lot more than the other types of character options. So Warden's good in that sense, and it's good for some other things like horse riding fights and stuff, those kind of abilities, and the ability to do javelin attacks, where a lot of the characters don't do that at all. maybe none of them. So you have like a javelin instead of like a bow and arrow, and you can do distance, like ranged attacks, really good, and like set all your skills to like ranged or something. But it's a very difficult one because it's kind of like a Simon Says kind of system. You know, close encounters. Do 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 do. You got to do these little combinations of Morse code type things just to cast a spell or something, and it's very complicated. In my opinion, it's difficult to. I don't think that's going to be the popular one in the future. If my opinion came down to it, it would be like the captain, probably first of all, because you get a sort of a helper that can appear and help you out, and so you've almost got like 2 against 1 sometimes. I like the ones like Rune Keeper with all the magic spells, and Lore Master with all the magic effects. Lore Master, I used to be able to let all the animals loose. I don't know if they took that out now, but because I was playing Gems of War for like 6 or 7 years, and I wasn't playing Lord of the Rings nearly as much as Gems of War. So Gems of War made all kinds of characters. I've never been one to kind of stick with one character because I like to get all the different possibilities of what's available for a game that I'm really interested in. So the last video I made, it was how long? An hour and 39 minutes. I think I'm gonna stick to that general time frame because it seemed to work well with the last video. Like I said, I didn't get any view. I don't think anybody watched it. But you might not have to watch a video to download it. So maybe someone was able to download it, or maybe the people on YouTube who have to sort of oversee everything. Maybe somebody saw it. I don't know. Part of it, maybe. Hopefully not just the cops and the FBI and whatever part of the government is surely watching over me in some ways, because they don't understand that I'm the New England part of the United States. That's what I support. As long as they don't change the New England title of those 7 states, that area, I don't have to be there. It's just sort of a state of mind, you know. Like, I've got a lot of traditional English values that were respected very seriously by the American government up until Trump was elected. Someone with a lot of crime history and just so much unpredictableness in his past experience as a leader of the United States. And I mean, I hope his intentions are sincere. I don't see any reason why he should turn out to be an evil spirit demon from hell or something, like. But we just don't know what's going to happen, you know. You can see the Hawaii flag has the British flag in it. Maybe that's kind of what I am. I do love Hawaii, but I hate those like cane spiders that look like tarantulas, and you never know when you're going to see one. So like, I just don't want to see any of them, you know. And it's hard to find in the desert a tarantula. It might be easy if you're looking for them. If you have a certain type of video camera or lens on your camera where you can see like ultraviolet, you know, fluorescent vision or something, you might see a lot of scorpions out here at night. maybe you'll see snakes and you might see spiders in the daytime or the nighttime. I don't like seeing spiders. I hate spiders. I hate snakes. I hate scorpions. All the, I totally understand if that's the reason why they built all these buildings, just to get away from the insects. I've had enough of like flies and mosquitoes. Like, don't need any of that stuff. They're so annoying. And I'm not a huge fan of animals, really. I don't really care if people eat animals. Not that I'm in a competition with people for who can live the longest. I believe we're all going to die unfortunately, in this generation, because the world, when there's all these wars going on, it's very difficult for people to relax and develop the kind of technology that we will need to preserve our youth and to learn more. These people that are the up and coming generation, to learn about the secrets about health and longevity and agelessness and eternal life in the human body, these fragile flesh that we inhabit, is so temporary. It's just such a minuscule comparison to what the universe comes across to us as being so alive and so eternal. I wish people could live forever on a paradise earth. I'm not I guess you could say I'm kind of an inactive Jehovah's Witness, because although I believe in the Catholic religion too, a lot of things about them, I think that it's safer to just go down and trust the Rastafarians, because God knows they have saved the world with marijuana in so many ways. Obviously it's always going to continue to advance our knowledge about the medicinal herbs of ganja and sinsemilla, cannabis, all the things that people see in different ways. Some see it as a bad thing, it's illegal. In a lot of places, even in the USA, it's probably states that are definitely not legalized yet, unfortunately, and I don't want to live in those places. I'm definitely a marijuana addict. Even though I don't use it every day, I want to be able to use it if I want it. Actually, this place where I live, and this might be why I experience the world the way I never thought I would, where it seems like a lot of people are doing a lot of things that they wouldn't normally do for money, and and not just that, but just for love and just out of the goodness of their hearts and stuff. It doesn't remind me of when I lived on the coast, like growing up in Laguna or in Las Vegas or like in northwestern Washington, where I lived a few years, and just places that I traveled anywhere. And there's something different about this part of the California desert. I think it's more like a beehive or something, and I feel the whole world sort of a lot closer than I ever did. And it seems like it's not just because of the technology. I think I would have the same feeling if I was a very socialite type person, or a similar type of feeling. It would still, I believe, be different than than sort of the impersonal vibes from a lot of these other places. And the lack of just enjoying the party. You know, like Vegas, it's like, come on, enjoy the party. But the whole world is like, we are. No, but here though, I think they really do try to enjoy the party. And it's not like everywhere you go, but I feel it from even just listening to the radio that there's like a party going on, but people are really feeling it. And I didn't always get that type of impression from my hometown in Vegas. All right, 51 minutes. Plenty of time left for this second video in my Andy Warhol's Not Me series. Andy Warhol's Not Me. That's my hashtag title for my YouTube channel now. My name is Mr. Scott Charles Stucker, and my hashtag, whatever they call it, my channel name is Andy Warhol's Not Me. So hopefully that people see the humor in that, and they realize that I've kind of spent a long time going in a direction with my life that a lot of people definitely wouldn't go in so many ways. Like, didn't I say I'm like an inactive Jehovah's Witness, right? Yeah, I could still be a Jehovah's Witness. I just would have to buy some suits. I don't know what happened to all my suits. Yeah. I think I just outgrew them, so I got rid of them somehow. I never thought I would be so heavy, you know. But I've enjoyed a lot of good food and stuff. So yeah, with the Andy Warhol's Not Me, like, it's somebody I respect a lot, I've learned a lot from, and I've observed a lot in a lot of sort of like beyond what the normal people might see in that person. And he was definitely a mentor, inspiration, so it's someone I love, you know. It's too bad that he's passed away, but I like to continue the legacy in my own type of style, with my own flair for what art and pop music and pop culture represents truly, from the heart and soul of my universal perspective of, you know, being someone who really likes and admires and appreciates other people's art. So into like their zodiac signs. I love everybody as individuals. I respect everyone. I don't look down on anybody above anybody else. Like I said, you know, like Trump, I'm going to insult him a lot unintentionally, you know, until he brings about peace, especially for Ukraine, but also for Israel and the Middle East, helps out with it more. Because there's like 7 countries over there that are surrounding Israel, and those are all countries that are based on terrorism in so many ways. It's disgusting. It's unbelievable. Heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And in Ukraine, you know, what's gonna happen when it's over and everybody goes like, oh my God, yeah, we should, sooner or later the world's gonna say, yeah, they should have been inducted into NATO so that somebody would have helped them turn Russia around. But see, one of the things, and I know they never say this on the news, I've never heard anybody say this, but Ukraine had a long time to join NATO. And who is going to make that happen or even try to when they are busy organizing their independent government and their freedoms as they became available after 1991 and after the Budapest Memorandum, where they got rid of their nuclear weapons. It's like they didn't have somebody like Zelensky who was constantly like, please let us into NATO. You know, there's no reason why we are not a part of that, you know. But it was too late when the war started. And Zelensky never took that at face value and said, maybe we should just get out of this war zone and say, fuck it, Russia, if you want this land that bad, if you want it that much, go ahead. It's not worth any Ukrainian losing their lives, but give us time, give us a grace period to evacuate this country. Now, since then, how many landmines have blown people's arms and legs off? Even when bombs have hit apartment buildings and children have lost their limbs, it's the most heartbreaking thing I can imagine. Someone going through their whole life and they barely have any memory of even having that particular limb, or some of them lose both their legs. I mean, it's just too much to even think of the possibility that there's anything logical about war. It's so disgustingly sickening and evil. It always will be. Jehovah's Witnesses, they just go to prison. They won't go to war, and they have the courage to stand up for what they believe is the Bible teaching, that war is not something God wants us to participate in. The reggae, the Rastafarians, I think they feel the same way. That's why Africa is never at war, because God never says go kill your brother in the Bible, right? As far as the land of Israel itself, they had to defend that all through history, because the Holy Lands were where the priests would make their offerings to God, and that's where they had just the Holy of Holies, and just, they had to defend the land because God instructed them to, but they were never told to go and fight their own brothers. And our brothers are international. We're global citizens. All these lines in the countries, you know, Yanni said they don't exist. And I don't think Yanni played a concert in Vietnam yet, but I don't think he would be against going there if the world petitioned him, you know, and said, we want a concert in Vietnam, you know. Yeah, we're just like sharing the universe, you know what I mean? And the earth is a small speck of sand. Like George Harrison said, right? We're nothing. We're a speck of sand on the beach of the ocean, and the earth is a speck of sand in the universe. We're just nothing, you know? So defending all these lands and having these crazy wars where all these people go through all this hell, you know, it just seems so unnecessary and satanic, truly against It's really the opposite of what a loving, compassionate, merciful God would want for people. His children, God's children on this planet. So, surely all the kids that they're murdering over there and abducting and brainwashing, and those are probably the ones that were going to save the world. So now we just have to wait longer for the good things that would have come from those individuals, because now we have to babysit those individuals for the rest of their lives after they have turned into war heroes. And we will surely be ashamed whenever we see those people, whenever we know and come back to our senses about what they had to do for us. They are surely the part of the body of Christ, that they saved our lives with their innocence and with their taking Satan's mercilessness for the glory of God and for the glory of love and the future of the human race. You know? Russia, there's one good thing about them. I think a lot of them want to see the end of their evil regime, Russian Federation. They have a kind of inner rebelliousness naturally, because they're so brainwashed with Russian propaganda that a lot of it just, when they have access to like travel, and they put all the pieces of the puzzle together from YouTube being taken away from them and stuff like that. And they remember YouTube and they remember all the video games, right? And surely they know when they travel around what other people have, like, oh, okay, like the rich ones, because Russia pays a lot of people to be sort of like traveling oligarchs and stuff on their yachts and party and help with their business sector and making deals and stuff with other crazy entrepreneurs and things. So, because Russia wants to take over the world, they have to send people out like missionaries constantly. So many spies and things. So, you know, there's ones that betray, like Bezmenov, Bezmenov, what was his name? There's ones that are like higher ups in the Russian conglomerate oligarchy that, an oligarchy is kind of like a mafia, and Putin is like the godfather. He's a mafia head, a mafia boss, and over a small number of Russian oligarchs and military officials that are the top ones. And they control the whole fucking land there, mass. But the rebellious Russians, they look forward to the end of it. But they're not allowed to say that. You know, they're not allowed to say anything bad about their government. But some of them, you know, they'll take videos of the drones coming down and bombing the oil refineries, and they probably wonder why they turn on the news in Russia, and Russia says, yeah, we shot down some drones in these territories, and they'll be like, well, actually, I got the video, I put it on Telegram or TikTok, I shared it with the whole world, that the truth, that the drone came down and actually bombed the refinery, or bombed some so-called, see, they have all these places that are like weapons factories and stuff that are called like a furniture warehouse factory, or a polyester factory, or places that make plastic, you know, buildings like that. Ukraine bombs them all the time, and they go up in flames. And if the Russians didn't film it, we might not even be able to see most of that real news because the fake news doesn't have access to those video clips, you know. And then when the Russian government is lying to them and saying, "Well, we shot down 100," they said this today. They said we shot down 104 Ukrainian drones last night. That's a lot, right? One Ukrainian drone is, it's like something that's very visible, like a 75-inch TV, not a paper, those electric airplanes that people fly and stuff, those ones they take to the park, those gliders. They shoot those things down, and Ukrainian shoots the Russian ones down, Sometimes the Russians have done a lot of damage to Ukraine's places, like they blew up McDonald's just like a week ago. I think it was less than a week. And it's like, damn. I wonder, and I thought, stupid me, like, is that the only McDonald's they have in the capital there? No, they have more than 100 of McDonald's, but around the country. But I guess that's a lot, now that I think about it. I mean, Texas, right? How many McDonald's they got? 100? Yeah, probably the same thing. Ukraine's got a lot of bowling alleys, So I don't know, there's a lot of European countries that are going through these government changes because their governments are supporting the Russian Federation. Who knows what they've been paid or bribed with to go along with Russia's plan or desires, Hopefully those governments will be overthrown somehow. I don't know if protesting is enough, to bring about fair elections in countries like Georgia and Slovakia, and I don't know. Even Germany's having some problems lately. Like this guy Schultz, I think they're protesting a lot because, well, for other things, but he's withholding aid to Ukraine that was promised or that they really need, and certain types of weapons, maybe like Taurus missiles or whatever they're called. And it's surprising that Russia would change like that, but because they seem to be one of the biggest supporters in the first couple of years of the war. So, too bad. They seem to be going the wrong way now. But it doesn't surprise me with the United States withholding Ukrainian aid already. And who knows what it's going to turn into, because, what I'm hoping for with Donald Trump will be he will economically threaten Russia. He's sort of saying that we're going to place a lot more sanctions on them for oil industry. Now, I don't know why those weren't pushed to the limit before. Because with the United States, should have known, they didn't really say this much, if anyone did, but the oil is probably going to be the way that Ukraine wins the war, if they do win it, or if Russia backs down, because Ukraine is bombing oil refineries every day if they can with drones. And the reason they're doing that is because that's all it's going to take. If Russia goes down with the oil industry, they'll have to surrender, or because their economy will collapse. They're already having a lot of super crazy problems with their economy, and it doesn't seem like anything could turn those around. But I think the president of Russia, and he's telling his, higher ups, like, they're hoping for a miracle, that Trump and his business expertise, they're really buying time on both sides, United States keeps putting it off, everybody's putting it off. Nobody wants to be the superhero that says, today's the day, we're doing this today. Even though Trump was saying that in his campaign, it's not that I don't think he wanted to end the war in 24 hours. I just think that he feels like there's other priorities he had to focus on. Like, he traveled around. He actually accomplished a lot in the first week that I was not expecting. I thought he'd be partying all week, I watched a lot of the inauguration, and he's just got incredible energy for his age. But I would compare it to my mom. She's very well for her age. As far as energy is concerned, she seems to be far above the norm, in my opinion. And I can only hope to have that much strength and awareness, when I'm that age of 78. I think she's probably the same age as Trump, maybe 77, 78. So Joe Biden was 82. He was starting to obviously go a little bit incoherent with his debate performance. He seemed to not have lost the debate, but it was a little bit up in the air because he seemed a little bit confused at various times. Now, Kamala Harris, she definitely won the debate, and she won all the so I said this last time, but the convention speeches and stuff, it was nothing like the Republican situation, in my opinion. I do believe there was election interference that they're not talking about, but I hope that there's not, I hope that everything is going to be turning out like a fairy tale, like a Disney movie, and Trump's going to be the Irishman that saves Europe, because Ireland's not in the NATO alliance, and neither is Israel, I guess, but a lot of countries defend Israel. They help to, and just naturally, and they provide Israel with certain weapon systems that are so advanced that Israel can defend themselves when they need to. So they've done a very excellent job of keeping their people safe. They've really blown our minds if you've been paying attention to what's been going on there in the past, I'd say 3 to 4 or 5 months. It's just been unbelievable. I've seen things that look like nuclear bombs, and to see it in living color, so clear, wow, so crystal clear. To see what looks like a nuclear bomb like that is just amazing. Truly, almost shocking. And, well, certainly shocking in the sense of, why doesn't the news show this on the regular news, stuff like that. But the fake news. Donald Trump was right. I never really knew what he meant when he would say it all the time, but I found out from spending a lot of time on Twitter, I got a lot of real stuff that is hard to find on YouTube or is shown on X, Twitter, from other people that are on other channels that share videos on more than one platform. And they do that, I guess, because they want to get a lot of subscribers, possibly get paid, so they have like the same profile. They post the same things, maybe on like various social media platforms. One hour and 15 minutes. Button pusher. Go to pieces. Yeah, I was watching an interview of Jewel a couple days ago, and she was what was she talking about? I think she was talking about charities and trying to help people that were having difficult times through the LA fires, because so many like famous people, maybe some of her friends, were involved in those. And she's saying a lot of really empathetic, compassionate stuff. I was really impressed by her fellow feeling towards others. I didn't know she was that empathetic and compassionate. So I love her. I mean, I've always loved her, but I love her way more now. I know she's a Gemini. I probably only bought one of her albums in the 90s. But the first one, well, I might not have bought the first one, but I know I like that one, The Pieces of You. They sure listened to it a lot. They played some of those songs on the radio a lot. You Were Meant for Me. That was on the radio a lot. So I saw a video today about Utah. A place I used to visit somewhere in Utah is called Parowan. I actually went fishing with my grandmother, my dad's mom, in Utah one time. It seemed like we were the only ones there. It seemed like it was a special lake or something. But Parowan, they like made their own cheese curds, those little round kind of cheese balls like things, and they sell those in bags. They're real fresh, like stuff you put on like a mousetrap or something. I guess you could put peanut butter on a mousetrap. I don't eat peanut butter anymore. The last time I ate peanut butter was right before I went to bed. I think I had a spoon of peanut butter before I woke up with what was obviously some kind of sodium overload. I didn't know what it was. I just thought I was going to die, excruciating pain, And I hadn't gone to bed for like 3 days, I'm pretty good at sleep deprivation because I don't like to sleep much. So I'll pass out in the chair a lot sometimes. And sometimes I won't go to bed for a couple days. Never usually three though. So I was like, God, not now, And I was saying everything's cool. I fell asleep, I did sleep for an hour. Surely this pain will go away, but it just got worse. So I found out it was a kidney stone eventually, and they probably gave me an opioid to make the pain balance out. So yeah. I tried to dim the light a little bit on top because it seemed like it was a little bit too bright. I don't know, let me see. I put like a bandana on it. Alright. Alright, where are we at? Where are we at, y'all? Okay. Am I down to earth yet? I'm trying to be, right? Well, I can see a star on the flag now. Now we're more like Texas, right? I can reach out and touch Texas almost. Or Hawaii's right there. I can see Russia, damn. I don't want to see the word Russia on a map. I don't want that country to have any kind of future. And actually, I think the camera angle's a little better this way. Even though it's sort of the same, right? Okay, well, 17 more minutes, so talk a little bit. Chill out a little bit longer. So yeah, Gems of War, was so deep, a really good strategy game, but the direction they went kept being like what I guess I wouldn't have done. I think though in the long run it'll all make sense, but right now, the ways that they were going was I wasn't really interested in. So I got my injury right about the right time, I think, for me to quit the game. Someday I think it might be the greatest game, or known, the greatest gem game that's ever been created. Maybe someday. Unless they make one that's just super beautiful, with like a lot of beautiful women and stuff. But for like cartoon games and gem games, it's really good. And there's a lot of perks and in-game things that you can buy to sort of enhance your experience with it. And if you stick to one character, I think you can experience a lot with it and get really far with it. Wow. It's amazing. I don't know where wow, they got some deep thinkers involved in that game, like I was thinking about the underworld. It's more when you get to the underworld and that kingdom of that kingdom of darkness, going around there is like it turns out to be more like a really deep kind of chess strategy type game. Even though it's the same thing, it's there's a lot more restrictions on possibilities of interacting with the other characters and stuff and players. So it's a challenge, very challenging, and it mind stimulating if you're into the game and you want like to show the world that you can take on these challenges, and people think, damn, you could be like a really good chess player probably, seeing what you've done here. You're obviously not some kind of retard or something, Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott the retard, right? This is going to be our This is going to be our fraternity symbol, okay? Just fuck me. You've already fucked you. Just, it's time to fuck me, okay? So yeah, I know the land that I'm on is the United States of America, so I don't want to be extremely patriotic since I'm really not in my heart. At least not at this time. I totally support the royal family and whatever their interests are. If they called on me to travel there or anywhere or live and die, more than happy to go to follow the plan, and instructions. I adore the Queen of England at this time and her husband. Charles is magnificent and a spectacular example of what a King of England should be like. Very intelligent, but also healthy. A good example of not being a gluttonous fool, but having a balanced perspective of the human consciousness and the human body and the human experience in itself, So, but I will, if Trump, I'll support the United States more and more as Trump stops wars and especially helps to put Russia in their place somehow. And I think that Russia is likely to realize that his threats are real. Economically, he can cause a lot of extra sanctions on them if he tries, I think. Otherwise, why would he say those things already? He pointed them out, like the oil and stuff like that. And that's true. Russia's oil refinery could be the thing that shuts them down completely. But Russia, unfortunately, has committed so many war crimes. It would be proper for them to pay the price. If you steal from Peter, gotta pay Paul the next day. Russia. That's what Anthony Kiedis said. And I believe that he was serious. And being as honest as he could be. He was talking about experimenting with drugs like heroin and stuff. Even the Cheech and Chong gummies everything has a come down, caffeine. See, a lot of the superfood powder mixes, some of them include things like matcha green tea or maybe black tea. Ingredients like spirulina, but things that have natural caffeine sources or natural energy sources that are similar to caffeine, like cocoa, whatever it is in the cocoa chocolate natural superfood flavors of organic chocolate, and but there's always a come down, right? See, that's a good thing about some of the superfood powders, like Kachava. I never noticed a come down, really. Maybe that's because if you take it in the morning, by the time it's the end of the day, that's the come down, or you're asleep and it's happens when you're asleep. So, but it's not as noticeable as like coffee. Like there could be anxiety, or if you overdose, maybe some little paranoia or hallucinating, attached to it. Attached to the coffee come down. So yeah, the balance of all these things, and the marijuana gummies or the CBD gummies that have THC in them, like the Cheech and Chong. I think I'm gonna transition to the normal CBD gummies again, because or the normal ones, because I don't like really the CBD after effects, and I don't know if the THC is the problem or what it is about the CBD oil, because I've tried different CBD oils, and I paid a lot of money. It's like it seemed to be working good. One thing I love the Cheech and Chong drops, the nice dream drops. I believe in those. I had a lot of really good dreams, and it's helped me to see the world differently and be more open to the global citizen type thing, like the human consciousness of the collective soul of everyone, and everyone's togetherness and stuff in the spiritual world or the reality. So yeah, with all the drugs, there's always a come down, right? Anything sugar high, put it in your cereal, and gotta come down too, right? God, when was the last time I ate cereal? Oh, ooh. Oh, I've got y'all on. You guys owe me some cereal. Somebody. I don't think I've eaten cereal in decades, for sure. Probably. But I had some things maybe that were similar to cereal. Maybe if I put granola in a bowl and poured like water in it and ate the granola like that. I used to buy things like that. There's some good ones. Some of those granola mixtures, don't skip those. If you can eat whatever you want, check those things out. They've got some good mixtures. I'm trying to remember what one that was really good, but I'm not sure what it had in it. It seemed like it had like white chocolate in it or something, but it had some healthy stuff too. But I know that was one of the good ones. $1:33. Okay, 6 minutes left. So yeah, I barely heard any commercials with this radio station. It's early in the evening. It's not late at night. 7:05. Today I watched some YouTube videos. I feel like people can learn a lot from YouTube. They can learn a lot from X Twitter if they, because you choose the followers. You follow people that you want to see what they post come up. So if you're really into like news and stuff, you follow a lot of news sources like maybe CNN or Fox or ABC or NBC or CBS or BBC, and see a lot of the breaking news stories as they are posted, and sometimes as they're happening. Alright, looking at these flags of the states, I guess you can't see past California. Oh, but we see California. I think that's a good sign because I am in California right now. So I see it. That's in my video. My mom's from Texas. Always loved Texas, Had a lot of relatives. I went to visit there a lot when I was a kid, and we'd go to Six Flags, Magic Mountain, and Six Flags Magic Mountain over Texas. I remember those free falls. Yeah, they take you up there, the parachutes. Ooh! Wow. Can you imagine one of those things fell, I think, one time? I saw Knott's Berry Farm, the ride recently. It was like a few months ago. It was like one of those ones that you like sit in a thing with, they pull the harness over, and they just, they swing the people around like really high up, and they go around in circles like, and then it stops. The ride stops, so they were like way up there with their legs dangling. And I watched the whole video because I was really concerned about these people. I grew up near Knott's Berry Farm, so it's a place I always like to go, and just knowing it was there was kind of cool, Not too far from Disneyland. And like when I was a bus driver for 3 years in Orange County, I would go everywhere. So most of the time, I didn't have like a fixed bus route. Only a few times in Santa Ana, and the bus routes normally I would go all over. So San Clemente to Long Beach, and I would pass by Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm a lot. So I felt like the world wasn't such a crazy, sad, bad place, There's things to be happy about and cheerful about. And the bus station we start at was Irvine. If I was doing a fixed route, I'd go to Santa Ana, start at their bus train station, and then go into the city and back. But generally, just from Irvine to either up or down or everywhere. Had a lot of interesting times being a bus driver. My mom's husband helped me get that job. He told me about it. And their base is next to the Irvine Marine Base, and you had to go to like a 2-week school type thing in where was that school in like in Whittier or somewhere far away, like Long Beach or something. I think it was Long Beach, huh? I think it was Whittier. Possibly Cerritos. 1 minute left. I want to dance with somebody. I know people want to dance out here. They sound like they do, right? There's so much black music on the radio stations, I noticed. Even when I have the camera on. Double Trouble. Camelot Theaters. Here we go. Actually, I haven't gone there yet, but I know the gays are having a festival pretty soon with a movie premiere. Film festival featuring Some Like It Hot with Marilyn Monroe. And I thought, wait a minute, have I seen that? I know that's the one where she wears the pink and she's got the diamonds and the long gloves and stuff. I don't know if I've even seen all the Audrey Hepburn movies. Marilyn Monroe, I don't think I've seen even half of them. But I've seen her paraphernalia like a million times. Like Madonna was always compared to Marilyn Monroe. Hasta la vista, baby.